Break Free Consultancy and Connect and Grow. So, some of you may know that as part of my business with Break Free Consultancy, that I do business coaching in the NDIS space. We also have our Connect and Grow magazine, which provides incredible reading articles on nutrition, fitness, well-being, yes, NDIS. And we even have Book Corner, so super excited about that. But we also have just launching now is our Connect and Grow Business membership. But the reason I share all of this with you is to let you know that in that Connect and Grow Business membership area, that is designed for business in health and disability, because we know right now in the NDIS, it is such a challenging time. I am personally hearing from people with an NDIS plan how their funding has been cut. So their plan is less than what they previously had. They're waiting 4, 5, 6, in some cases 7 months for a plan review. And in many cases, while waiting, they're actually being out of NDIS funding, which means that they're actually out of support. So if they're funding that they've used a little bit earlier than their plan end date, they're out of support work if it's under core. What that means is there's massive ripple effects. So not only does it impact the person who has run out of funding, it could impact their family members. It can also impact the people that provide the service to them. So there's lots of things, that cause a lot of stress and anxiety going on right now. We're also noticing and hearing from people how support coordination has been removed out of their plan. And in some cases, they've got a local area coordinator. In other places, they haven't got anyone else. We're also hearing how the people are getting their plans, but now they're NDIA, which is agency managed, where before they were either self or plan managed. That also impacts the workers that they can have, because they may have built up a great rapport with their support worker. They were plan managed and their support worker is not NDIS registered, which means that now they're agency managed. They have to send an email and say, I would like to be back to plan managed. Thank you very much. And I require that so I can have the same support worker that I've had for some time. But what happens is that could take weeks to occur. So they're still, even though they've got a plan, they're still without that important support for them and their life. So what's going on is impacting both the people living with the disability that have an NDIS plan, potentially their family, and then the providers. In the last 2 weeks, I have heard from multiple providers of different services, primarily core supports, saying they have to close their doors. They have had participants out, like a lot of people, out of funding for several months. They can't hold on to their staff because they haven't got any work to give their staff, or not the level that they had. They're struggling to pay their expenses for running their business. And some independents are going, is it even worth me staying with it? Because the person that I was doing 10 or 12 hours a week with no longer needs me at this moment in time because I have no funding. We don't know when they're going to get a new plan, or they get a new plan and it's half the funding that it was before, or it's been made agency managed. So that worker then goes, I've been waiting for like 4 months for the participant or the person to get their new plan, only to find out that it's half of what it was. And now how do I pay my bills, or how do I grow my business? Do I just go and get a job somewhere? But we do know that some of the small to medium-sized businesses are struggling with that as well. So in Connect and Grow magazine for May, the May-June edition, we are going to be talking about this a little bit more in a little bit more detail. Now, if you want the full article. You'll be able to get that article, but there'll be additional supporting articles. You will have to subscribe, but the main article will be online for about 6 weeks that you can read it there. We want to raise awareness of what's going on with so many people either out of funding, getting less funding, being made agency, which then impacts the service providers that they've maybe been working with for years. They feel connected to them, they feel safe with them, that now they have to go ahead and find a new provider. They may have gone 5 months without support and their mental well-being may be suffering and they're not sure where to go, who to trust, when it's going to end. We understand that with any business, it's not easy. There's always change. We also are hoping to get some up-to-date information on what is happening around the support worker role at the moment. And, you know, is it staying? Is it going? Like, what is going on? We want to know. We want to know from a business perspective. We want to know from supporting the people with an NDIS plan perspective as well. With all this uncertainty, and then you add in, is my provider going to have to become NDIS registered? And that seems to take 2 or 3 years. So what do I do in the meantime? Like, there's all those questions around mandatory registration. We haven't heard a definitive answer. We do know that the task force is still working on that. We do know there's a lot of opposition to what was written up and recommended in the NDIS review. Now, just to add another layer to all of this, we are seeing and hearing how there's changes to respite or STA potentially coming out soon. Exactly what that looks like, we don't really know either. We're hearing little bits and pieces, but we're not got enough to go, oh, definitively that's what this will be. Now, just to add another layer, as if what I've just shared isn't enough. The next layer up is where we're waiting and we may hear around the 20th of June. Now, this is just the information I know, where the NDIS bill or legislation, getting the NDIS back on track, was submitted to Parliament, and the date on that for is it going to be accepted as it is in part, like the next step, let's call it the next step, is on or around the 20th of June. Now, it says in the document, in the parliamentary website where it goes, that it is the 20th of June. We'll wait and see. We'll get to the 20th of June, and the minute that I can find out any information, I will share it with you. So, right now, I encourage you to take a step back and look after yourself in a positive way. Self-care has never been as important as it is now, whether you are the person with the NDIS plan, whether you are the loved one, the family member, the best friend, or whether you are the service provider. It is a time of uncertainty for so many people on so many different levels, and getting a straight answer feels like it's really hard. I've been asking a lot of questions to a lot of people, attempting to get some, what is the answer? And I'm seeing on social media, in different areas of social media, where people are sharing, oh, mandatory registration is coming in. It says the 1st of July. No, I haven't actually heard an announcement like that. I have heard that the task force will go back to the Honourable Bill Shorten in June. I do know that they're going to have a meeting at the end of May to say this is what we've heard. They're going to take everything that they've heard and then they're going to present it to Bill Shorten, and then a decision will be made. But no definitive decision has been made, or at least announced yet. Maybe there is a decision behind the scenes. I don't know about that. But what I do know is that right now, something has to change. And with the backlog of review meetings, the backlog of applications onto NDIS, the backlog of people waiting for that change of circumstances, their new plans, there is a lot of stress and anxiety. I've had a lot of support coordinators and people reach out to me and share how many people they have that they've been waiting for 4, 5, or 6 months for their plan review. And all that time they've been out of funding, the participant or the person has been out of funding. So it's really important that we do support each other in this time of uncertainty, especially when it's very hard to get a definitive answer. I think that we have to, as best we can, keep taking a little bit of time out as much as we can to go, okay, so I've done everything I can do in this moment in time. Or is there anything else I could do that's going to help my situation or my client's situation? It is really tough. I hear it. I hear it every day. I get all the phone calls, people in tears on the phone, people really distressed, people really angry. And this is both providers and people with an NDIS plan. I don't have a solution outside of I can listen, I can let you know that I do hear you. And if we can each support each other and keep asking the questions, and if you are waiting on a plan review, keep contacting the key people, your support coordinator, local area coordinator, the delegate or the planner. Keep at it. You can escalate it if you so choose. You can send letters to politicians, whomever, but just bear in mind that eventually it's all going to go back to the agency, and the backlog is in the agency itself with these meetings. When you contact NDIA, they do tell you that nothing has changed. Everything is happening as best it can in as timely manner. On the website, they have been having some updates, little banners across the top that just lets you know that, yes, there is a bit of a wait time for certain things. We did hear that recently PACE went down, so the whole PACE system went down and people couldn't log in. I'm still waiting on an answer to find out if that's still the case. But if it is, just keep a note of this. All you can do is just keep checking, refreshing, logging in and out of things. Sometimes updates happen and you need to log fully out of things to log back in. So I'm probably not telling you anything you don't know. But sometimes when we're feeling frustrated, we can easily forget the easy little steps. Take care of you. Let's stick together. On the 16th of May, our article will come out. We've been talking to a lot of people. We're putting the article together now. It will be as accurate as it possibly can be at the time. This is as accurate as it can be for the 7th of May 2024. It is subject to change, so the information here, the backlog could clear tomorrow. I don't know. We live in hope. But what we share with you is accurate at this moment in time, and the goal is to stick together as much as we possibly can. It's not easy. It's not easy for anybody. So being kind to yourself, having a little bit of patience with other people as best as you can, and your emotions are yours, right? So you are entitled to feel annoyed and angry if it is you that is missing out on support right now. Do your best to keep making phone calls. If you can't make the phone calls yourself, then engage someone that can. You will need to give consent for privacy and confidentiality reasons for them to call or speak to, for the NDIA to speak to someone else. They're going to want to clarify that they actually have your permission. So, maybe do work with a friend or family member or your support worker to help you gain that information as best as possible. It is really sad to see the system that supports, over 600,000 people in Australia, what feels like it's broken. That's my word. That's not anyone else's words. But when I'm getting 20 odd calls a day from people with an NDIS plan saying, what do I do? I have no support. Um, we just feel like we're not being heard. I can give people a voice as much as they're willing to be a voice. We do share people's story in the magazine in the Uniquely Me section, but without, like, I'm one person, so I can listen. As I said, I'm also hearing it from the businesses that are having to choose to close their doors. That hasn't been an easy decision for them, purely because the people that they provide support for either don't have the funding for the support, or while waiting for their review, or their plan has come back and it's been changed, and the wait time to get it changed to plan managed again seems to be quite lengthy. And meanwhile, that business is out of funding. They've got no money to keep going because they can't provide the support, because the funding's not there for that person. So, huge ripples. All we can do is just, as I said, over and over again, to just keep raising awareness, keep escalating as much as you possibly can. Stay tuned for our article. We are waiting for further clarification around what seems to be happening with support coordination, so that we can give you as accurate information as possible. We're just waiting for the relevant parties that are having those discussions to give us a bit of a statement for our article. If we don't have it, we will certainly, in time for publication, we'll certainly be chasing it again next month, because we want to give you as much information and keep you as up to date as possible. So I'm going to just leave this here, short and sweet, because it is a heavy topic. It is really upsetting for a lot of people, feeling like they can't have support that they really need, that they're used to having. It's really hard for people as well that are relying on, that job to keep a roof over their heads. And the ripple effect to everybody is being felt on numerous levels at ground level. I can't speak for higher up. I can't do anything more than that. But you can keep escalating as much as possible, and just remember that self-care, especially in times of stress, is so very important. Take care of you. If you want to reach out, you can send us an email. The details are on our website, or you can book a call. We're happy to listen. That's the best that we can do, and keep raising awareness, and we'll keep you up to date as we hear of changes.